Some big moves are coming for the Montreal Canadiens, as what Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton had to say at the annual golf tournament has Habs fans absolutely fired up, hinting at some pretty big things to come. We got to dive into what Kent Hughes said on the team building and trade front, Jeff Gorton revealing a key update on Kirby Dach, plus a whole lot more, all coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. And we'll start, actually, Jesse, with maybe the most important thing of this whole video, but we're going to open with it because it has to do a lot with what we're going to talk about later. Gorton talking about Florian, Kirby Dach, but according to Renaud according to multiple sources, the Canadiens are in talks to extend Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes contracts. This is probably the biggest news of the day. This is concrete. This is something that's going to happen. And I say, Jesse, the cap is going up. People are projecting it might double in the next few years. Let's just give them whatever portion of the cap we'd give to a max contract. No, like so far, I am so thrilled with what they've done. This to me is such a great step for the future. And I can't say anything except for I am so excited to hear this news today.
The dual-headed beast needs to be brought back together again. And we think of them like just as important as like some of our core players. Mm-hmm. It's very rare where you would think of that of like your management team. It's like, okay, we got something great, but we want to keep this going. And we really need Jeff Gorton, Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton in the saddle to really help make that happen here. And, again, it's been like such a real, like, just honor, Josh, like to see them at work. Like, they're just like such professionals, right? Like they've just put like so much amount of like care and time. It just has this funny because we'll get into that more a little bit later, like so much literally around the clock, like workaholics, but you can tell they're not just building this team for the sake of it. Like they really want to do it right. And they have a vision, and it's not to be a good team in the NHL. It's to be a class A, team at the top of the rankings every single year. And it's really coming together, that vision. And they haven't been willing to really sacrifice on at all, which I think just, again, that vision has been so important to the success. So absolutely just so deserving the extension to really kind of keep the band together just as we're starting to get some momentum. Of course, we want to keep that going, and obviously they're going to figure into just huge parts of all of this.
Oh, beyond hyped. I mean, leave your thoughts on this down below, because I don't think I've seen a single person say that they're upset about this, as they shouldn't be. So far, everything's gotten to plan. Hey, these next few years will tell a lot, but even the next few months might tell a lot. And you know what? Let's just dive straight into that, because I want to start with something Jeff Gorton had to say. And he was asked by Renaud Lavoie, like, hey, who kind of stood out among this weekend? And Gorton was like, listen, it's hard. Just 2 games in less than 24 hours. How do you really pick and choose what stood out, what didn't? But one player he wasn't shy about mentioning was Florian Xhekaj. I said it's certainly encouraging to see Flo Xhekaj come in and try to take another step, put on muscle, do the things he had to do to try to take that step. So we're encouraged with his development. And so are we, Jesse. Again, Florian Xhekaj, when he was playing with Ivan Demidov and Oliver Kapanen in the first game on Saturday night, he looked unreal. Now, in the game Sunday, he didn't look as effective, but still not that bad. Still working some board battles, making some nice defensive plays. What we're noticing, Jesse, is like he's one of these guys that just fills that specific role. We know he put on the muscle he needed to, but he works very well with other skilled players. Like I was almost surprised how smooth he worked with Ivan Demidov, how he thought the game almost at a level of that next level player. So to me, again, it's hard to ignore. Everyone's saying like, who jumped out to you, Jeff Gorton? They asked him like, who's the guy that stood out? The first name he thought of was Florian Xhekaj, and I think it's for a very good reason.
Yeah, great answer. And you have to feel like this type of player that Jeff Gorton really likes. Again, having a little bit of that fight, that dog in him for sure. And, along with Demidov, really, it was Florian Xhekaj who's really the talk of the town in Montreal right now. And there was just so much hype on him, Josh, like leading up to this rookie showcase. And Florian Xhekaj did nothing but just deliver on that, which is really so huge. Again, of having success in Montreal, he deliver when it's under pressure, and he's showing he's up to it. And what that really means leading into training camp, potentially has some really big implications. Why? Because he's just doing like everything that's asked right now. He's kind of putting his head down, and he's really being like a team first type of guy. Like for sure the size help. He's looking like a giant, but like not only having that height, but getting like that muscle. And that was really important. Like that was his marching orders for the offseason. Like he really needed to get that to have the results we're seeing early on. And that 15 pounds of muscle really did it. I think it matters quite a bit having that size out there, Josh, but it was also the soft hands that surprised me in terms of like the playmaking. I saw the nice shot from him, and I expected, the physicality and everything, but some of those soft passes with the playmaking, it's another angle that Xhekaj, is this how he's giving himself another opportunity to really make this team here going forward. So again, just, amazing things on the outlook for him right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're so right. The smooth hands were so interesting. I love some of his defensive plays, like skate hard back check, stick lift into an immediate takeaway, and then just gone the other way. Yeah, it was great, right? And again, just everything he was doing just made the game smooth for his teammates. Like he wasn't holding the puck too long, or if he had a chance to shoot, he was shooting it. He wasn't hesitating too much. It looked like he knew where he belonged, and it's yet to be seen. Like you alluded to, like he's got what it takes to get to that next step. Like the lineup, we'll have to see what comes in training camp. Like that 13th forward spot, I don't think it's bad for his development, like to be around the guys. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Leave your thoughts on Florian Xhekaj down below, because even Jeff Gorton had so much good to say about him. But another thing that we heard about, maybe to give some more clarity to the lineup, it's not Florian Xhekaj, it's Kirby Dach, and we got to go into this here. Eric Engels, among other people, was saying Jeff Gorton says the Habs have a plan to have Kirby Dach ready for opening night, and this is something we've been waiting to hear. Of course, there were conflicting reports all off season about how far ahead he was in his training, how far behind he was skating, was he not skating, and at the end of the day, we saw him skating, but the question still remained, would he be ready for opening night? Because that was kind of the question that was not officially answered. There was hints like, that's what we'd like, but we're not sure. But by now, it seems like that he will be ready. And even Kent Hughes, or Marty St. Louis, said about him, look, I talked to him a lot this summer. He worked really hard. We know what he's capable of, and he has done everything to get back to that level. And I am so excited to see Kirby Dach this year, Jesse. Again, there's been a lot of talk about the 2C, about different trades, different guys who are becoming available. But at the end of the day, it seems to be Kirby Dach's spot to take, and I love to hear that this guy should be ready for opening night. And if he is, I think there's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of happy Habs fans just hoping he can get off to a fast start, though that might be a lot to ask for a guy with his injury history.
For sure, but so important for him of just playing that full season, at least giving himself that chance right from the beginning of being there with the team and opening night at Bell Center and the vibes, right? Like it's a feel-good story for him to really, again, just get off to a good start, which is just so important. I'm happy to hear this. Of course, I was expecting, just by like how well he was skating and how hard he was going, I was like, okay, he's not going to be going this hard in practice. If, there's maybe if he's not worried about being able to start on time, that would definitely take the precedent and all of this. But I'm just so happy that it looks like we're getting that type of news, and that more importantly, that just his development, his recovery is on plan and really going well, because it's important to know, like Jeff Gordon's saying, like that he's looking good out there.
Yep.
Jeff Gordon, he's a straight shooter. He's a nice guy, but he's a straight shooter. Like he's not going to say that unless he thinks Kirby Dach is looking good. And the whole thing we have to remember is like, we can't give up on him. Have we been frustrated at points here on Habs side? Yes, we'd be lying if we said that we weren't. Do we still believe in Kirby Dach here at Habs Digest? 100%. Why? He's coming into that contract. Well, again, with Patrik Laine and with Kirby Dach, I feel like they're both going to be motivated right now. Patrik Laine, again, with the contract here as well. The injury kind of thing. Like, I just feel, Josh, like Patrik Laine is like a blueprint. Like, if Laine can somehow turn it around, it'll just be the perfect example of a guy like Kirby Dach. Follow under his blueprint. You can turn around. You can get healthy. You're a skilled guy that maybe had some problems before. It can be okay. You can get better. You can find a home here in Montreal, because ideally that's a situation. Like, we really like Kirby Dach and what he can really bring to this team here. So again, I think it's really just important knowing like their motivation. I think that could be like an underrated factor in all this. We got some highly skilled guys, and they got a reason to play this year. And what that means for this team going forward, I think potentially could have some, could be just what we really need.
Yeah, and I think, again, this is, I don't even know if I'd say make or break for Kirby Dach. Again, the contract situation throws a bit of a wrench into things, but like, this could be that year that we finally see him get a full year and explode points-wise, because when he's had the chance to play with really skilled players, he has looked really good when he hasn't needed to drive a line. He has looked good at times when he's needed to drive a line, again, before that first injury, and looked good, taking that center role. But his best hockey was when he played with Suzuki and Caufield, and giving him the chance this year to play with guys like maybe Demidov, maybe Laine, maybe Bolduc. There's so many choices, right? I think this could be a recipe for success. So leave your thoughts on Kirby and how excited you are to hear that he's ready for the season. Like, I can't wait. Opening night, again, get those vibes, get those reps in. That's the most important thing, and hopefully get a fully healthy season. But, there are questions with the lineup, whether Kirby will be ready, whether Florian will make it. there's also other questions about the longer term vision of this team and trades that could come. And Kent Hughes actually spoke on that today. This is what we're most excited to talk about today, other than the extension for Hughes and Gorton that's in the works, which is awesome. But let's take a look at what Kent actually had to say. So first thing he said, I just wanted to put this here because this was cool. Upon arriving in Montreal, our goal was to create a culture that made people want to come to Montreal. Seeing the players spend the summer here, that's awesome. And I believe he said this a while ago, but regardless, it's something that's been reiterated by everyone, right? Love that. The culture is already there. But he also said this: we don't feel like we're done building our hockey team, but we're in that phase or sequence where we're constructing the hockey team. I guess our priority isn't just being as efficient as we can with our asset management. If we have to overpay to do something to get a specific player that we think is important to the future of our team, then we will do it. And this is something he has sort of said in the past, but to continue to say this after making that Dobson trade, after trading up at the draft, with, you could argue it was a bit of an overpay, though it's hard to value those draft picks at that point. We got our guy, that's really all that matters. But Kent Hughes has clearly been very transparent by saying, like, listen, we got stuff, we'll give you what you want for your player if we really want him. The Noah Dobson trade, I don't even think that was an overpay, but it's something that he has shown time and time again. To reiterate here, also to say, like, we're not done building the team. We will overpay if there's a guy out there that fits our team. And this just makes me really excited, Jesse, because the consensus now, it seems to be that from this golf tournament today, Hughes and Gorton, the big common theme is, like, trade market has to pick up at some point, and Montreal is looking to be not only one of the players, but a key player in this whole thing.
That's it. And I love kind of this aggressive mindset that, like, we're just kind of getting started. In fact, that, like, you know, we're not done yet. We're just getting started. And, you know, it's like when the iron's hot, you definitely have to strike, Josh. And, like, it's taken some time for it to get hot. But when it is, you definitely need to move with pace at that point in time. I think that's not lost on Kent Hughes. And what that means is we're actually building momentum for this team here going forward. Again, Josh, maybe it's, you know, the hopeless, you know, kind of like believer in me, but it's like when I hear the overpay, am I thinking Crosby? Am I thinking McTavish? Like, what do we need to do to get the job done? But again, Kent Hughes is on it, and he kind of let us know, like, a big part of his success. It's like, again, it's the prep work of just, like, staying in touch and feeling like he's not missing out. Like, you know, he's not out on the golf course. He's just calling people to see where things are at. And I think that's a big part of, like, Kent Hughes, of just, like, talking about his success, right? It's like he always just wants to be one step ahead of the game. And that's how you really make these things happen. That's how he's showing, like, we want to make it going. We just want to see where the market's at. But I think he's just doing everything to make it happen. We've had years, again, we don't need to live in the past, but we know that there have been a different mindset from management in the past when it comes to free agents, attracting players to Montreal. And we're just seeing the complete opposite of this right now, and really the results that this team is getting, I would say, from this mindset as well, this philosophy here coming forward, I think is amazing as we're kind of really building this team. Once you get to those final, you know, parts, you really need to be able to kind of find those right pieces. That means slight overpays here and there to kind of have years and years of really sustained success. I think is totally the play.
Yeah, and overpay is subjective in a lot of ways. Like, overpay could mean, like,
when you're confused.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? So, yeah, that's true. But, like, I mean, you look at what some guys might go for on the market, right? Like, you know, one example now is this Kaprizov contract, right? Like, Rantanen signs 8x12, Marner signs 8x12, Kaprizov might get $17 million a year, but, you know, the cap's going up, and his importance to Minnesota can't be understated. Like, these kind of things, like, overpay is subjective depending on situation, and I think that's where Kent Hughes comes in. It's like, you know, there's no objective value for these guys, even if the trade market is different. Like, if there's a guy, like, look, we're willing to pay over market price. And I love that because it just shows how aggressive we are. You're so right, Jesse, with the shift in mindset, this aggressiveness. It really feels like a new era. It is a new season coming off a playoff berth, but, like, there's so much left to be seen with this team. He said we're not done. We're so excited to see what's coming next. Leave your thoughts on all of it down below, because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. Cannot wait for the season to start, trades to start flowing. And if you enjoyed, hey, subscribe to the channel. We got videos coming out every single day. Thank you for tuning in, for being with us every step of the way. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.